Welcome to American Education FM, everybody. I'm Dr. Sean Brooks. Ladies and gentlemen, Jaymz and Outcast from the Dangerous Info podcast join me here in this particular episode. It's been a long time since I've had them on, and we have a rather fun conversation here. We start talking about fasting a little bit, as that was one of the topics of their previous episodes here as of recent. We talk about a lot of Michigan politics as well, global politics, taxation, and then, of course, we talk about school-related things as well. And there's a lot going on in the field of education, as you are well aware, certainly within our nation and within our particular states. And then again, we talk about the waking up process and what that is like and how that's not easy for everybody. But people are waking up because, again, the Great Awakening here is never ending. And this ball is rolling down the hill and rolling in a good direction. So with all of that said, again, hope you enjoy this conversation. Give this a listen. I will leave the description on where you can find their show, the Dangerous Info podcast, of course, on Rumble, BitChute. I'll leave it in the description below, and you can check that out. So give this episode a listen, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great weekend, and I'll catch you on Monday. Peace.
I'm on a 24-hour fast right now, and I'm just at 6:30. I can eat, so I got a banana and some pumpkin seeds in front of me right now. I haven't had dinner yet, but Outcast, he's coming on. He's still on a fast too. We've been fasting since last night dinner.
How's that going?
Well, I did it last week for 20 hours, my first fast ever, and I had really bad hunger pains at 10:30 in the morning, which is normal for me because I'm out there working. And I did 20 hours last week. And then this week, 24 hours. The hunger pains were not a problem at all. Now, Outcast, he's been doing it like, I don't know, a month straight, it seems like.
No, but earlier this year, I did a 7-day fast, but Sean, I am eating something. I kind of do a customized, like a Daniel fast. I just cut out, protein and meals and stuff here and there. But last week we did one. I did like 3 days in a row. I did 23-hour fast. I call them 23 hours because I ate one meal. I ate a normal dinner, and then the rest of the time, the only thing I ate was in the morning. I had a raw egg and some nuts and some dried berries with my vitamins. And today, that's what I did again today. That's a lot for me because I never thought I could fast. When I was younger, I was like, if I don't eat, I'm going to get shaky. I'm going to get a headache. I'm going to be useless. And I think maybe it's getting older, but I think it's also the Holy Spirit. Something's going on because
I do too. I do. I'm fasting and praying at the same time. So, like today at noon, when I was supposed to eat lunch, I got the Bible out in my truck Bible, and I read what did I read today? Oh, Psalms 2. I read that, and then I said a prayer, and then I jumped out and got to work, and so I had no time to think about food, so I was just kept moving. So, luckily, I didn't get hungry, and
it's a good regimen. The prayer part of it.
Yeah.
I was working, so I was praying in my car a little bit, but I wasn't making time to pray.
Yeah. I don't know if you've listened to any of our shows lately or not, Sean, but what was it? Monday. Oh, Monday show. Monday show was just, it was good. I didn't expect much. And then it turned out to be an awesome show. I don't know what it was, but it turned out to be, we had to scramble to make it work. And I'm telling you, we had a great show Monday. I don't know how you felt about that, Outcast, but
yeah, I felt good. And then some of the response. Oh, I didn't tell you this. I talked to Tom and brother Tom, and he was just ranting and raving. He said, "Now go back and listen to your second or third episode and compare it to this because you guys have come so far." And he said it was phenomenal from beginning to end. I loved that episode.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean,
we were just riffing.
If you want to. Are you recording already?
Yeah, we're going. First of all, regarding your episode, I missed it. My apologies, but I'm going to go back and watch. It's titled The Scramble.
Yeah.
Fasting, abortion, prayer walk, weather modification, Operation LAC, red pilling, secret pyramids, conspiracies, and feedback forum.
That's it.
Fantastic.
We had to scramble because we had a guest who had to last minute reschedule on us, which is okay. So, we're just on the fly scrambling, trying to figure out what we're going to talk about. And it all came to us, man. It fell into place. I just changed the artwork up in the title. I got rid of the title, and I just created it on the fly as we went. It kind of laid itself out, as we were going, and we just went with it. We rolled with it, and it felt good doing the show. And I can't believe that we had a really good response from all the chat rooms. The chat rooms were on fire, and like never before. People coming in from the past that we haven't seen in a long time jumped in, and it was a great surprise to have all that going on.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah, I noticed that too, Jesse. What's going on? Why is everybody joining in? It was interesting.
Yeah, and I didn't try to make that happen. It happened.
Well, let me mention this real quick. Of course, I intermittent fast pretty regularly. The longest I've gone is 48 hours, and
Nice.
I did it.
That's good.
Yeah, of course, I wasn't working. I deliberately picked a particular time when I didn't have to. So the trick, as you're aware, is you just do whatever you can to stay busy. You read, you move around a little bit, but you're not physically exerting yourself to the point where your body is starving. But then I've heard of this particular fast too, and this one's wild, and I don't even think I'm going to try this one because I have a pretty good idea as to how it's going to end up. It's referred to as a hard fast, and it's 3 days long. You don't shower, you don't drink water, you don't brush your teeth, you don't eat anything, you don't drink anything, and you basically just exist. Again, all you do is just, again, get up, fall asleep, you do stuff throughout the day. Of course, you smell like trash, probably, but, it's just kind of the way that it goes. But, yeah, all of the cells in your body start to regenerate, your blood cleans itself out, same thing with the enzymes in your mouth, the whole thing. So, yeah, that's a bit of a stretch for me.
I like that, and that's I've got this fasting book that I sent to Outcast that I got from Brother Arthur, a friend of mine, a friend of mine's father. He gave me 2-3 weeks ago, and it really lit the fire under me. And then I heard you talking about fasting, Outcast, so I did it. But I believe what you're talking about there, Sean, that fast that you did, it's listed in this book. It's just called by a different name. Now, this is set up as prayer and fasting together. I do have an uncle of mine who I've been consulting during all this stuff. He's straight carnivore, and I've done carnivore quite a bit. And actually, my daughter does it, and she loves it. We really like it, and so I've been using his advice to help me do carnivore stuff too. I really like it, man. I just love the way this fasting feels. Feel so energized and alert and clear of mind. And my body's not all bogged down, so I know, this banana's staring at me right here, and so are these pumpkin seeds. But if I start eating them right now, I'm going to feel all that start wiggling around in my belly, and I don't want to feel that. But I want to read this to you really quickly. My uncle that I was telling about earlier, he sent me this morning. He said, someday do 72-hour fast. That's what he does. He does a 72-hour fast, a lot like what you just talked about, Sean.
Yep.
He says he does them his on Sunday evening to Wednesday night. He says it's like a higher plane of consciousness. Your brain repairs itself, and your energy, mental clarity, and sleep are indescribable. Plus, after 24 hours, your body starts to produce HGH naturally, which is a human growth hormone, which is a muscle building compound to preserve muscle. To preserve muscle, thinking you need to, boost more muscle to go and hunt a mastodon. So you're actually inducing that to your body, and it's going to react as it should. So I don't know you guys' thoughts on that, but that. Go ahead.
Did he drink water at all?
Yes.
Or coffee? And
yeah,
people do that kind
he
of
drinks water and some coffee.
Okay. Yeah, you've heard of the Daniel fast. I think I'm going to invent one myself. It's going to be called the John the Baptist fast. I'm just going to eat locusts and wild honey. See how that goes.
Ooh, that sounds.
Bug sandwiches. All right.
Yeah. Zebra eats the bugs.
Amazing.
I'm not eating any bug. I'm not eating any bugs, brother. But yeah, Sean, it's been a long time since we've hung out like this, and I miss it. The last time we did it was on our show, and we had such a great time. It was a lot of fun. We get into some dark, fun corners of whatever,
Yeah, talking to you guys is a blast. In fact, I tell you, I've got a couple of things lined up here. I know I didn't really necessarily share my notes with you on any of this, but I just wanted to get your, off the cuff responses to some of this. Again, first of all, as everybody knows, both you guys are based in Michigan. Go ahead and hit us with as much Michigan politics as you possibly can, because it certainly seems like within the last month, there's been a lot going on.
Oh, there's a ton going on over here, and it's nuts. And a lot of people are really going off about it too, locally. The first thing, you know what I'd like to talk about? Because this for us is kind of a big deal, Outcast. Remember, we talked about AXMI Tax Michigan, AXMI Tax.org. All right. And Carla Wagner, she is the founder of this here in Michigan, and it's an initiative to eliminate property tax here in Michigan. It's a ballot proposal for the 2026 ballot that we're trying to get. We have to go out there and get signatures for this. And to get this onto the ballot, it will eliminate property tax. It will provide funding for local services. It will fund the police and fire. It will fund infrastructure and essential government services. And it will empower local communities. Basically, if you look at how much tax, this goes for every state, how much tax gets goes to places we have no idea where it goes to, right? Property tax. We don't know where it's going. I mean, they're buying local gyms, they're buying things like pickleball courts and just silly things all around the community that they have zero. Why? Let corporate or let business owners run those things. Why do they need to go out there and use taxpayer money to go buy these pickleball courts, and things that people could buy or just have on their own? Outcast, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm mumbling this up a little bit, but
no, I'm doing great. I think you're absolutely right. It's like they, as we know, I mean, all politicians misappropriate funds, and it's heartbreaking because they're kicking people out of their homes for not being able to pay their property tax, veterans, senior citizens, because I think there's a land grab involved, because BlackRock has become the number one homeowner in America, or on their way to being number one.
Yeah.
So obviously they have a plan to make everybody into tenants, and what better way to do it than to tax, raise, these inflation rates are so high. These senior citizens that thought they had enough to survive suddenly don't have enough to survive. And then they take these misappropriated funds and they put it pickleball courts everywhere, because pickleball's a trend. My neighborhood, we had a roller rink for roller hockey, like a rink, right in this local park. Well, nobody was ever in that thing. I mean, for the last 25 years I've lived here, I've seen maybe one person in one of those rinks. That's gone. Now it's pickleball court. And when that fad ends, they'll just sit there. And then we've got splash pads, and I don't have kids. If I go play in the splash pad, I'm going to look like a pervert or weirdo, right? For kids.
Yeah.
But I'm paying that water bill. It runs constantly, right? I don't know. I mean, I know it's supposed to make my community better, but there's things I'm just kind of like, man, I just don't. And that I wouldn't be surprised, even let's say they accumulated mass amounts of taxes, and then they do little token things like a splash pad or like a pickleball court, when a vast majority of that money is going out to our local construction companies who are constantly redoing our roads that should have been done right the first time. And you find out that these construction companies are probably, pardon me for saying this, probably mobsters. Literally,
they're on the take somewhere, probably. Yeah,
they're on the take. Yeah. So they're laundering money through all these schemes. I'm sorry, I'm going to rant, but you guys get my point.
Yeah, for sure. Well, to go on with what you're talking about there on the, buying, for example, these splash pads and all these things all over the place. Who is maintaining them? Think about the winter times here in Michigan, when the ground freezes and cracks and pipes do this. Why are we paying for something like this when an actual place who already owned it, splash pads or whatever, they could have just kept ownership of that? But instead, these municipalities come in here and use property taxes to buy these things, and then they have to maintain it, and then they want to do whatever improvements or whatever. It's like, obviously they have too much of our money. Here's another one. The county parks, Outcast. So the county park that I live right next to, it's been here my whole life. I remember, as a kid going to it, and we going, car by car and get in line, buy our daily pass or buy our summer pass, whatever it is, to pay for the thing that we are using directly. All right. It's been like that my whole life up until this spring. Now there's nobody in the guard shack. There's nobody that I can go pay to enjoy the park for the day or for the summer. Because guess what? It was on the initiative, the ballot last time we went around, and people voted yes for it. And that's where people get caught up is in these proposals that get snuck in. And they get snuck in on the midterm type of things. So a lot of people don't go out and vote for midterm type of things, like say 2022. All right. But they show up big time for presidency every 4 years, which completely boggles my mind, because the more important vote is for your local township and your local state and your local county. That's where the big the big changes that affect you every day happen. All right. So it's very easy to slip these kind of proposals on ballots in here. So now all of a sudden, I don't have to pay Outcast to go to our local park here, and now it's just taxing everybody in the area, in the county, who will never go, who has never gone before. Okay, before it was a direct use, and that's the way I wanted to use it. That's the way I liked it. Hey, I'm going to take my kids in there, take my truck in there. I want to pay you to use this. They had no issues in the past with, funding, lack of funding, because everything's built. I mean, there's bathrooms there. There's a lake there. There's boats and paddle boats and trails. There's a nature center in there. There's so much, and all this improvement has been going on all these years of my life. So you're telling me now that the funding is going to be so much bigger now, because they're automatically now it's in people's property tax. So now they're going to have so much money for this county park. What are they going to do? What are they going to do with all this excess money? That's what's going on here in my county here in Michigan. It's insane. I don't like it. I don't know what it's like down there in Ohio, Outcast or Sean, but things are stacking up here, and I don't like it one bit.
I find I find this whole issue of taxes too to be fascinating, because the more that they are talked about being eliminated at the federal level, certainly income tax, for example. I mean, that's kind of the ongoing theory here, is that ultimately income tax would be eliminated. Well, if income tax is eliminated, which I think it should be, I don't think anybody would disagree with that. These local municipalities, like you just said, they're going to look for other ways to tax people to make ends meet, because they can't imagine living with less employees or doing less projects and having less things. And then, of course, they can't imagine not taxing people. So, it's confusing as hell as far as I'm concerned, but it's also forcing their hand. And unfortunately, they're moving in a bad direction where, again, like you said, they're taxing individuals who don't even use a particular facility. And they're saying, well, now everybody's just going to use it, or everybody's just going to get taxed whether you use it or not. I mean, it's just like the school system, same kind of thing.
Yep. Yeah, it is. Exactly. It's not good. And they're sneaky about it, because they know to go, and I'm talking about these people who put these proposals out there on these ballots. And usually it's the left when they try to sneak these kind of things in here. So they know that they're good at organizing and getting things together, because they know if these types of things are on ballots, on an off presidential ballot, it's easier for them, because all they have to do is rally up, and they can go and get these things on the ballot by votes of 1,000, 1,000 or less.
Yeah.
Versus because the rest of us are out here, we don't go pay attention to these midterm votes that should be the most important. Now, there's a strategy. We've been talking with Carla about this from axmytax.org, and she says, look, we need to be playing at their game. If we want to win this game, we need to be playing at this game. So what we should all be doing is also be, she told us before, Outcast, the strategy is to get on early ballot lists. So go down to where you vote at in your county here, get on the list, get automatically put on the absentee list. That way, it's a reminder, because when it comes to your house, that's going to trigger a reminder in your head. So, oh yeah, we do have to vote this year. Most of the time, we'll just go on along. Not talking about me and you, but most people will just go on along, not even realize that there was a vote this summer. Okay, so if you sign yourself up for the absentee, it will come to you as a reminder. Now, the left has been doing this forever. They never forget a vote, okay, because they organize well. They know how to do this stuff, and they know that we're out here too busy to pay attention. So it just takes a little bit of voting by a few of them around, and they're going to win. They're going to win a lot of these proposals, and that's where we have to wake up and be smarter than this, because they're pulling the liberty right out from underneath us, right here where we live,
which is the goal.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy. Here's a real quick one. Just a little. Did you know? A simple $147,000 home in Detroit costs $5,166 each and every year in property taxes. But that's a lot of money for somebody that's, for a $147,000 home.
Now, see, you eliminate property taxes. Then, I mean, again, you're going to have these local groups, schools, city councils, you name it. They're just going to look for more reasons to tax people again to make up that difference.
Yep. I don't know, man. We can go on and on for taxes forever, but most of these taxes weren't even around 100 years ago.
Yeah.
It's politicians that have brought these up and put these things on ballots and just, got them passed. I mean, there are so many taxes. I mean, it's absurd that we have to pay a fishing tax or a hunting tax if we want to feed our family. It's absurd that we can put up with this.
They notoriously sneak in taxes into bills that are important to people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you go, oh, they're going to shut down my local fire department. Okay, I got to vote for this proposal, and then they sneak in other garbage on it. That's what their MO is. Not many people voted. People didn't vote for it. They voted for something else, and they got that as a bonus.
Yeah, bonus. It's crazy. Eventually, I think we're going to end up talking about Gretchen Whitmer and the nonsense that's going on over there. There's a lot going on there, but there's also people here getting busted. Just when was this? Just 4th of July week. We had people up in Traverse City, Tren de Agua, gang members arrested in Traverse City. You guys on the 4th of July, Independence Day. Up in Traverse City, that's a town up north. That's a getaway town, Sean. If you're not familiar with it, up in that area, which is the northwest area of Michigan, along the lake, that is
very trendy, touristy.
Yeah, that is the Key West of the north. Okay, blue water, sand dunes, wine. What's that? Wine country. It's the wineries. Yeah, vineyards up there. It's beautiful up there. I mean, of course, Traverse City is I'll call it a big, small town, right? It's nothing like, Detroit, Pontiac, Clinton, but it's nice. But of course, it's one of those very liberal towns. Do you want me to read this? I have a little, I'm looking at a picture here of all these guys that got arrested. It's just a very short, couple paragraph here. Traverse City, Michigan. Officers and agents with ICE Detroit arrested suspected member of the foreign terrorist organization Tren de Agua in Traverse City on 4th of July. Enforcement and removal operations alongside Homeland Security investigations arrested, what's his name? Kleber Cecil Balza, a 25-year-old illegal alien from Venezuela. Cecil had an active warrant out of Virginia for possession of burglary tools and pending charge out of Florida for larceny. Cecil was apprehended in the company of 3 other men who were also in the country illegally. Here's a quote. It says, Tren de Agua is known to engage in sex trafficking, debt bondage, drug trafficking, and murder to advance their interests, said ICE HSI Detroit acting special agent in charge of Jared Murphy is his name. We're thankful to have the assistance of our TSA, federal air marshals, and IRS partners in executing this important mission. And I'm looking at a picture of them standing together, faces blurred, hands tied, and Yeah, up there in a small town, liberal town, where you wouldn't think that this kind of gang activity would be going on up there. Especially these, these are small towns, Sean. It's crazy what's happening here.
Yeah, I can't say the same here. I mean, I'm really not. I'm not tapped into, the kinds of individuals that are being arrested here, but I do know this, and I did look this up, and I think I even mentioned it on my show maybe a month or so ago, but anybody can get on their county's sheriff department website, and you can look at the number of arrests, and it should print out for anybody a PDF, and it'll show the faces of all of these individuals, and it will show, again, where they came from, their names, the whole thing, where they were picked up, what they were picked up for. And I want to say, I'm pulling this number out of nowhere, but it was, I think, 1,400 some odd numbers of individuals were detained by the Butler County Sheriff's Department in the county where I live here. And underneath almost all of them, and of course it was 1,400 some odd pages long, but underneath each page, because each page is its own person that's been arrested, it would say, "Hold for ICE."
Wow.
And they're holding all these people because they're illegal. I mean, It is overwhelming. And again, you would think like, okay, Miami University's the largest employer in the county. Probably wouldn't be a huge deal around here, but sure enough, I mean, right when you think it isn't, it certainly is. So if I was to give a tip to anybody, I would say that's the fastest way to find out what your sheriff's department is doing to detain these individuals. And then, of course, you can quickly see whether or not they're being held for actual ICE removal. And many of them are, if not the vast majority.
Yeah. Nothing surprising me anymore. There's so much that's coming out. And in the news, I mean, it's hard to keep up a bit on our show. There's just so much to cover, and you can only cover so much in a 2-hour period, like we try to do. So it's like, we'll grab the headlines and as much as we can, and then we end up in other rabbit holes. But it's layered nonstop, and we can move on to the next thing here too. But something before we go on to the next Michigan current event. There's another national current event that's really kind of. Let's analyze it for a minute. All right. You've probably seen the couples, right? That were just caught at the Coldplay concert in Boston. You didn't see any of that, Outcast? Well, it's been going all around social media, and it's crazy.
Oh, I did see it. I think I did see it.
It's insane. Yeah. So so I guess what's his name? Andy Byron. He's a CEO in HR and HR head Kristen Cabot from Astronomer caught having an affair on the Jumbotron. Now, look, we're going to come back to Michigan politics, but I just want to hit this, Sean, because it is top of the food chain right now out in current events, okay? Now, to me, I'm looking at this like, okay, they went to the concert venue. I'm sure he told his wife, I guess, that maybe he's going to go see the concert with his boys or whatever. Shows up on the Jumbotron, hugging her holding an embrace, right, during a concert. As soon as they see themselves on the camera, the big Jumbotron, they go into panic mode. Okay, so immediately this hits social media like crazy. It just took over everything. Now, I want to ask you guys both, what kind of society are we in where something like this right here, it just skyrockets right to the top of social media, and everybody's talking about it. And I'll tell you something that it reminds me of in just a few minutes. But do we live in a sick, disgusting culture where this is the biggest talked about thing right now? These two idiots.
Well, so it's probably a distraction. Could be, or it could be a distraction.
Well, it's definitely a distraction for sure. I mean, it's probably going to break up some marriage somewhere, but it already looks like his wife has already cut him off of some social media stuff. I've seen just a bit here, but what I'm saying is like this kind of degeneracy, if that's what you want to call it, is just at the it's on fire right now at the top of the social media headline. That's just another reflection, I think, of this sick and disgusting culture that we live in, man. I don't know. Maybe it's Sean. What's your thoughts on this?
Well, immediately, I mean, I saw it. You guys, you sent it to me in this text thread, and I am just basically just started asking questions like, who are these people? What is the company?
Right.
What is Astronomer?
Yeah.
Is this a bad company? Are these bad people? And then I thought to myself, okay, if these people got caught on the Jumbotron, was it intentional? Did someone know that they were there together and they wanted to expose them as being, again, bad people who maybe work for a bad company and they just wanted to do all of this? Again, is it accidental or is it intentional? I mean, if they're bad people and it's intentional, it doesn't bother me. It might sound cold-blooded, but,
right.
Whatever. But again, if they're innocent enough people, using a Jumbotron or the Kiss Cam and all that other nonsense to, catch somebody, with somebody that they wouldn't normally be with or aren't supposed to be with. I mean, I first saw it and I was like, what's Gavin Newsom doing with that woman? Because it looks like Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, I thought that too. I know, it did. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is like, well, go ahead, Outcast. You got something?
Well, I just want to speak to both your points. Jesse, you're absolutely correct. I mean, we do live in a depraved culture, hookup culture, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, most people just lack morals in general. So rather than addressing their spouse and say, I'm not happy, they go and they live a secret life, which is an interesting catch because what they're doing is a big aspect of their attraction, and their thrill of their attraction is the secrecy that it entails. So once they are set free of their spouses and they can be together, chances are they're not going to work out anyways because they lost a huge component to their to the thrill that they're getting out of this because there's no more secret. That's just a little side note. Scripturally, I want to say, Luke 8:17, for nothing in secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. That's New King James. I'd probably word that a little differently, but it's just saying there's nothing done in secret that won't be brought to light. So whether or not somebody exposed them, as Sean is pointing out, Sean, I had the same thought as Jesse was talking initially. I was like, oh man, I didn't think about this, but what if somebody did that on purpose because they, more power to them. One of their spouses is just as connected as they are, and they know in their intuition, and they found some crumbs, and they're like, I know where he's at tonight. He's at Coldplay with that broad again. I caught a spouse cheat, or not a spouse, a longtime girlfriend cheating on me. I did the same thing. I could have confronted her on it, but no, I went and I confronted her when she was with him, so she couldn't deny it. Okay, so this person, maybe for legal reasons or otherwise, wants to make sure, hey, I got you on camera. So let's not play this denial game. Let's not play this, how do you know? And, because that's what those gaslighters will do and that's the torture that they put their spouses through. I want to say that I know from experience. When you're dating a cheater, or married to a cheater, I would, in this case, your gut knows, but they every time you try to bring it up, they go, you're just paranoid. Come on, you just don't trust me. And they do all this stuff, and it makes you internalize, and it makes you so you can't sleep, and it makes you crazy. Okay, so these two little evil brats doing this, there's two big shots at the same company having this, and because the other thing that you pick up in that video is the girl next to him is laughing, kind of holding her face like they have friends that are complicit on this, that are helping them, and then when they got busted, they're kind of like, oh, don't turn to me. I don't know what you want me to do about it because we all knew. Now, you follow me. I'm all over the board with this.
Oh yeah,
my point. So whether it was a planned bust or not, regardless, they still got exposed, which is biblical. What they've been doing to their spouses is diabolical, and more power to it. I think that it's kind of funny. I mean, in this day and age, you're going to walk around in public with somebody, or walk around in public and do anything, and not think you're not going to be filmed doing it. I mean, I think about it every time I pick my nose in my car. You don't know where you're going to end up, right?
Yeah.
So, it's kind of hilarious. These two, people thought they were going to get away with this. I mean, it looks legit to me. They look really busted. They look really panicked. That Jumbotron.
Oh yeah, they panicked. They fleed all over the place. They just scurried like cockroaches with the light flipped on. So what this is kind of reminding me of is that hot Tua crap that was going on at the end of last summer. It's like
I was going to bring that up too. I know you're talking about. Yeah,
that hot Tua girl. That's what that kind of. It's like, what is this? Why? What's the purpose of this? That we're seeing so much of this. But Sean, you might be right on something like that. It could be, we don't know the angle, what's behind it, who these people are. But again, just degeneracy jumps to the top of the list on social media for some days. It's never ending.
Yeah. Again, I look at it also, and I say to myself that it's possible that it's also just kind of again, like you said, Outcast, even kind of a biblical reminder of the state of affairs of the surveillance state also. I mean, an innocent individual, two innocent individuals who, again, would be dating or even in a relationship, or maybe even not. Maybe they would be cheating on one another. The simple fact is we live in a surveillance state. And if people get a hold of your face, or they get a hold of any video of you or someone else, it doesn't take much for somebody to look it up and be like, oh, I recognize that person, and oh, wow, look, I recognize that other person that they're hugging too. And what do you know? And then before you know it, they post it all over social media, and no one is safe. Whether, again, they're an innocent party or they aren't. In fact, I just looked this up while you guys are mentioning that. Here's what Grok said about the company Astronomer. It says Astronomer is a technology company specializing in data orchestration, known for its platform Astro, which is powered by Apache Airflow. It says, founded in 2015 in Cincinnati, Ohio, and now headquartered in New York City, Astronomer provides tools to help businesses build, run, and monitor data pipelines efficiently. Its flagship product, Astro, is a managed data orchestration platform that streamlines workflow, enhances data reliability, and supports analytics, AI, and data-driven applications. It says the platform is used by over 80,000 organizations, with Airflow downloaded over 324 million times in 2024, and serves industries like finance, retail, healthcare, and manufacturing. Astronomer has achieved a valuation of approximately $740 million, following a $93 million Series D funding round in May of 2025, led by Bain Capital Ventures. The company also collaborates with major cloud providers like Amazon Web Services, AWS, to facilitate cloud migration and data workflow optimization. Again, that's surveillance. Wow. So two surveillance people having an affair working for a surveillance company got caught on the most primitive surveillance system you can, which is basically like a kiss cam.
Yeah.
It's awfully. That's hilarious.
It's pretty damn funny.
Yeah, you can't make it up. You cannot make this up.
Not to mention the size of the company. You know that they have to have policies against sleeping with the help. I mean, I would assume that you can't, but who knows? Maybe they'll be disciplined. Maybe they'll lose their jobs. It's hard to tell.
Yeah. Wow, it's crazy. There's just, who knows, man? It's another story that's out there in the ether, right? It's wild. I have made up a small list too, for talking to you about this stuff tonight. Now, I want to save this. I feel like we're jumping all around on you, Sean. I'm sorry for
guys.
Doing this.
It doesn't matter. It's a conversation between friends. Let's just go for it.
All right. Let's go here right now. Gretchen Whitmer. All right, so Gretchen Whitmer, you know who she is, a great governor here of the great state of Michigan. Otherwise known as Stretching Gretchen, right? She breaks silence on her $20 million earmark probe. She says she's very troubled by allegations. So you guys have heard the story, right? What do you guys know about this, Outcast? Have you paid attention about, this? There's a $20 million budget earmark. Somehow ended up going to some friends and things.
I don't know much. I'm gonna learn from you right now.
Well, Sean, have you heard of this down there?
I read the story that was sent to me a little while ago. And here's the funny part about this, and it actually is kind of the part that frustrates me about all these money related stories. Is we know that Gretchen Whitmer has done far worse than misappropriate money. So, it's the old Al Capone murder versus tax evasion kind of story, even though there's lots of ins and outs with all of that and whatever else. But this, it's like the Adam Schiff mortgage fraud thing. I mean, we know that Adam Schiff probably raped a kid to death. Why isn't he arrested for that? But they go after this money stuff and throw these individuals into the limelight because of money. But it seems like it's the money stories that are the ones that are always ignored and then just passed off or passed over, and there's never any charges. But yeah, go ahead and lay it out.
Well, basically, this is from July 17th, and I got this from Bridge, Michigan, bridgemi.com. And so July 17th, Detroit, Michigan, Governor Gretchen Whitmer says she's very troubled, in quotes, by embezzlement allegations that followed a $20 million budget earmark, telling reporters Thursday that any grantee misusing state funds should expect to be held accountable. The investigation by her friend, Attorney General Dana Nessel, office focused on Faye Baydoun, a Whitmer donor who filed paperwork to create a nonprofit called Global Link International, shortly before securing state funds in a 2022 spending bill, which Whitmer signed into law. So there she is. Baydoun, a longtime supporter of Democrat candidates, hosted a 2021 fundraiser for Whitmer around the time she claimed in an email that the governor was helping secure funding for her project. Whitmer Chief of Staff Joanne Hulse also expects to be among the quote witnesses in the ongoing earmark investigation, according to court filings first reported by the Detroit News. Asked on Thursday whether or not she or anyone on her staff played a role in securing the grant for Baydoun, Whitmer demurred, telling reporters she doesn't comment on ongoing investigations, but she said ensuring, quote, every dime of taxpayer dollar is not wasted is an important part of budget process, expressing support for competitive bidding processes involving individual grants that did not happen with the earmark for Baydoun, which was ultimately approved by the legislature, which is also run by Democrats. Sean, we're sitting around a bunch of Democrats up here. I mean, you could throw a rock, and it seems like all the Republicans are gone. Of course, we did end up taking. Well, I don't want to say we. The Republicans ended up taking the House in the last one, so just by a little tiny bit, they a couple seats here in the House, so they got the House back. But everything else right now, Democrats run all this stuff, and at the very top, they're investigating each other, and they're all friends. It's funny how that works out, isn't it?
Yeah. And again, you take into account that whole FBI hoax with her allegedly getting kidnapped and how that entire thing was a lie. It's like, wait a minute. If I staged any kind of a scheme having to do with me being kidnapped by the FBI, I'd be in jail.
Yeah. Well, we would come and visit you.
Well,
but
thanks.
True. Well, to keep going on about, Whitmer in that whole January 6th stuff, there's some stuff that we had a local investigator reporter here, Dave Bondi. He was on our show just, weeks ago, right? Probably 2 months, maybe? Within 8 weeks. 2 months.
Saw that one, yep.
So, and I'm still in contact with him. He's a go-getter. He gets after it. He jumped out of the mainstream media and he jumped in. Now he's doing his own stuff. So what I brought up to him the night he was on our show, I was like, hey, I have a little bit of inside info on this FBI stuff that went on here with her hoax kidnapping. Well, and I offered this to him that night. I said, Outcast, you probably remember this. I do. Now that Donald Trump is in the big seat in the White House, right? He knows all that information that went on with the FBI because, his boys are there running the FBI now. And remember when she went to see President Trump at the White House and she famously put up that notebook because she didn't want to be pictured, and then the photo got out and everybody over here and all the Democrats went crazy on her because, you're being buddy with, being too nice with Donald Trump and all this stuff. So in my thought, I'm thinking, you know what? He knows about what went on with that fake kidnapping plot. because he knows all the FBI guys now. He knows all those stories because his guys are in charge there now. So they know the whole backstory of this whole thing. I put up there, I said, what if he's got her by the short hairs now, and pretty much she's going to have to do whatever he wants. Because the second she steps out of line now and comes with some nonsense like she has been in the past, all he's got to do is control her by the information he's got. Because all those FBI agents, they're not going to save her butt now. They're trying to save their own.
Jesse, on that note, that previous story that you mentioned about the ice bust in Traverse City on 4th of July, that's so symbolic. I wonder if that was a way of a flex from the White House saying, "Don't forget who's in charge."
Yeah, because she has ties up there too with her and her husband up in that area.
Probably vacationing that weekend there.
That's where all those big liberals are. Michael Moore and all those guys. I think Eminem's got a spot up there, and so I just want to throw that in there too. Trump might have her by the short hairs on this, Sean, and controlling her behind the scenes a little bit. So who knows where this story's going to go? But is she playing ball? What's their relationship going to be like? The Democrats don't like her being so friendly with him now.
And we can't. I mean, this is total speculation. So this is for entertainment purposes only. But I mean, I don't think it's a myth. I think it's a fact that she used to be on George Soros's payroll.
Oh yeah.
So I believe, personally, other people might dispute this, but I believe that she is a Soros plant. She was put in place there. She was not elected. I bet you if we could really look at those ballots, she wasn't even actually elected. But let's say, so let's say they put her in place there. What is the end goal? Well, it's to deliver Michigan to George Soros and the globalists. What do the globalists want? They want complete control. What do they want? They want the water. They want smart cities. What do we have all around us? They got these crazy stories with water and smart cities all over the country, but here included. Dave Bondy did an article about Whitmer. I'm going to tag it on Whitmer because she's in charge right now. They're draining lakes up north on people's property, saying it's too expensive to build a new dam, which isn't true. Dams aren't that expensive. So you're going to lose millions of dollars worth of property around the lakes for people who have cottages there or whatever, because you don't want to build a dam. It doesn't. There's something stinks here, and it's got Whitmer stank all over it. I mean, everything that she touched, and then they were I don't know if they already started doing it or not, but they were going to tear down a forest to put up solar panels that were going to be covered in snow most of the year.
Yeah. Yep.
Idiots.
Yes.
But anybody in their right mind wouldn't do this. But who would? Well, a George Soros asset would. She would. She's not going to make good decisions for the state. She's going to make decisions for her overlord, her Emperor Palpatine or whatever you want to call him. Or her Darth Vader. I don't know. I'm just ranting, but you get my point.
I'd like, and I see that, talking about the solar farms and all that stuff. And then remember, we had that one show where we talked about her and what was going on in Gaylord up there with those the what's underground there in Gaylord, underneath where she's putting all the solar panels and all that crap. Like you just said, getting rid of all those the forests, right? Did you say 400 acres or something? Or over 400
I didn't
acres?
say it, but it's up there. Yeah, it's really high. It's a lot of acreage. Yeah.
So you toss that all up on there too. Plus, who's got the world's share of fresh water? We do. I mean, there's a lot of natural resources here that people want. They like our county. They've been after our county here, Outcast, for decades and decades and decades. Well, once Brooks died, they came in like sharks. They were waiting. They were waiting for him. They were like sharks in the water. And the water was chum. And now they're in charge. And look what they're doing to our county, man. They just oh gosh.
And don't forget that water represents human freedom.
Yeah.
Because I've seen these conversations with these globalists saying, we think you should have to pay for water and that water should not be free. And they're determined to try to control us any way they possibly can, and water is just one of them. So if you got people up North Michigan who they can pay to have a well dug and or take it out of the lake and have it purified, whatever, they don't like that. They want you to be, they want to have complete control over you and make you pay for everything.
Well, yeah, and they keep teeing up all this stuff from the sustainable development, and Agenda 2030 stuff, where they want to put meters on our wells and things like that, and regulate how we heat our homes and all this stuff, and outlaw wood stoves and use insurance companies to go after our freedoms, in certain ways. So it's never ending, you guys, and it's not just Michigan here. It's all over these great states. Something that you're talking about the water, and started making me think of floods. You guys, why are we getting all these floods all of a sudden? What? You just go back a couple years. We had all those chicken food production facilities catch fire. We had all those animals die all over the place. We had train derailments everywhere. What else? I mean, every summer for the last 5 years, it's been something crazy out of the norm. Wildfires, dew weapons. I mean,
well, don't forget the cattle burning up.
Yes, cattle. Yeah,
cattle burning alive. Then there was, I don't know if you said the chicken.
Food production facilities.
Well, there was food processing or food production facilities that went, and then there was a rash of chicken farms that went.
That's right.
In waves. It kept going in waves. It would be one thing, which it's obvious that they're trying to destroy our infrastructure and our food infrastructure. So, food insecurity will cause people to do, make people fearful. Fearful makes people stop thinking.
Yep.
People who don't think are malleable and controllable. It's obvious.
Well, I'd like to throw those small planes onto that too. Remember, all of a sudden, all those planes started hitting buildings and facilities and things all over the place. I'm talking from Florida.
That's a don't travel message.
Oh, it's crazy, man. So I don't know,
Jesse. Since you brought that up, I have nothing to back this up other than gut feeling. But I drive for a living. I drive 40,000-50,000 miles a year for my job, and I'm telling you, the way that they keep doing construction on main artery roads, I swear they're up to something about trying to. I don't know if it's a psychological operation where they want to make people like on the verge of cracking. And my customers are telling me that their patients that they work with, everybody's on edge. People coming in angry, agitated, pissed off, unreasonable. Like everybody's on edge. And then they're saying mental health is at an all-time low. People are depressed and anxious like never before. And I think it's a multi-pronged approach. I think it's their health. I think but what they've done is, since COVID, is they've limited our ability to travel or make us think that we can't really travel. They did it on multiple levels. And now they're doing it, I think, just even locally. They want you to buy an electric car that you have to plug in, which will limit your ability to how far out you can go before you have to come back. There's a lot of hinky stuff. And I just think on a daily commute vibe, they have made living in Metro Detroit utterly miserable lately. Maybe it always seems bad and I'm just overthinking it, but I swear to you, every time I see it, I'm like, this doesn't even make sense. Let me just give you an example. I live by two main arteries, two main highways, I-75 north and south and 696 east and west.
Yeah.
They're the main artery for getting around southeastern Michigan. Well, they have, in years past, they did other ones too. They'll shut down the entire eastbound traffic lane. So then they forced everybody off to get on the service drive, which there's 2 lanes on the service drive. But then when you're on the service drive, it randomly goes from 2 lanes to 1 lane, 2 lanes to 1 lane, and everybody's cutting each other off, in and out, back and forth. And I'm like, why? Why would you do this? If you're not trying to mess with me, I don't know. There's no other logical reason why you do something like this. I'm telling you, it feels like we're living in a very vast psychological operation. It's multi-pronged. It's food production. It's spraying the skies. It's food quality. It's travel. Limiting travel. It's making your daily commute. The people who are actually out there working and paying the bills to keep the country going are the people that are being psychologically harassed by their construction schedules.
You know what?
Isn't that crazy?
No, you're not. You're not. You know what this reminds me of as you're explaining that in my head? I'm thinking, that movie with Michael Douglas where he wears his
falling down.
Falling down. That's what this is reminding me of.
Yeah. I know.
I was in your area. We were not too long ago. We had to go to some concert in Detroit or something, right? So we were going down. I believe it was Woodward, and we just passed 8 Mile, somewhere in that area. And I saw that bike lane you're talking about. They took the right lane of Woodward, right, and turned it into a bike lane. It's like last time I was down here, it was cars driving that lane. Now all of a sudden, there's a thicker white line and some barrels or something up. Now bikes use it. It's like, you guys, this is a major road. What What's going on down here?
I have a theory that they're going with the bike lanes because they're doing it all over all the major cities around here, and nobody uses those bike lanes. I shouldn't say nobody. I rarely see anybody on them. They are trying to constrict traffic to the point that they can make the case that a smart city makes sense because you won't have to own a car.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to make us uncomfortable and go, you don't really want to drive, dude. It's just such a nuisance. Parking's terrible. Traffic's terrible. To go 2 miles, it takes you 20 minutes. You don't really. You'd like to live in a smart city, would you? When you like to sign up for that, doesn't it?
Well, they're going to get a lot of those liberals saying, "Yeah, do it." But I'm going to be out here saying, "I told you so." Sean, we're hitting you with the shotgun blast here. Sorry, man. We're all over the place.
That's the point. In fact, I was thinking about this. It sort of summarizes that meme that we've all seen with the older gentleman, and he's down on his hands and knees, and he's about to flick over a very small domino. And then there's a bigger domino after that one, and then there's this huge, like 6-foot domino, that's at the very end. And I really do think that what goes on at the local level is that big domino. That unfortunately, and of course it was supposed to be the other way around also, but with certain federal things taking place in Washington, D.C., and certain moves being made and chains of influence and money being cut away, we're starting to sort of, again, notice more. And more people at the local level are starting to notice very particular things like what you just brought up that seem out of the ordinary. And it doesn't make you, suspicious. I even, again, heard a quick little lecture. My apologies for forgetting the person, but they were talking about the word paranoia. And they said there's a negative connotation with the word paranoia, and there shouldn't be. The fact is that a paranoid individual is an individual who is questioning things, looking around at their immediate surroundings, and then wondering why they are the way that they are. Why are these things the way that they are? Why is it that we have to do this or that? Or why are we paying for this and XYZ? I mean, a critical thinker should be paranoid. It doesn't mean that you think that monsters are crawling out of your wall at night. It's just that you're starting to have a more critical eye on everything around you. And I really do believe that, again, with those particular chains of influence and flows of money that are being cut off from the federal level, again, everything from the Federal Department of Education all the way through all these other departments and systems, to some extent anyway, it's causing individuals, again, to breathe a little deeper and a little freer, and then they start to immediately sort of look around their immediate environment and say, okay, now wait a minute, how bad is it here? How is it bad? How bad is it in the very town where I live? And what people are finding out is it's equally, if not just as worse. So it's an interesting. I mean, the Great Awakening is huge, and it's. I don't think it's never going to end. This is an ongoing thing.
I like that. I appreciate that viewpoint too, because I think, am I the only one thinking like this? But no, I thank you for that validation. But I'm going to tell you this too, to tie in on a kind of a weird level too. I just saw an article. Which I can probably forward it to you guys, but this doctor came to this conclusion through doing autopsies on people who died after the vaccine, that every single one of them have their pineal glands destroyed.
Yep, I saw that too.
So on purpose? Yeah. So what we have here is you've got people that are completely disconnected from being able to question anything, which are the vaccinated, and they were they were a little behind the 8 ball to begin with because they were so keyed into the news and trusting the science. And now you got the critical thinkers who didn't take it. I mean, now you got a greater chasm, a big divide. There's a whole group of these people that are driving around in these situations going, "There's nothing wrong with this. This is normal." And then there's us going, "Am I crazy?" But it feels like they're messing with me. It's like two different realities are taking place. The Matrix and real life.
Yep. Yeah, it couldn't be more obvious that there are dead asleep people, and that there are, again, a percentage of individuals that will never wake up. I mean, it's alarming, and they're not waking up to the very things where if they actually impacted them personally, it would make you wonder whether or not they would want to wake up or do the right thing. And that for me is it's heartbreaking, because you look at these people and you know that they have no idea what they're doing. They just have zero clue. They're just saying random things, repeating, the latest thing. Or again, just repeating what somebody that they agree with has said. And then before you know it, they're incapable of an original thought. And they're actually advocating for their own destruction on a constant basis just with that wavelength of thinking. And it's troublesome, and that's putting it mildly.
So many people are comfortable living that way, though. They don't want to lift their head up and look. They want to stay comfortable in that not knowing bubble.
Yep.
That's the way they want to live their life. And hey, we all have people in our families just like that.
I have a customer, and she is vaccinated and asleep. And I usually, filter. I don't try to red pill somebody doesn't want to be red pill, but these people will bring up topics that there's answers for that we know, people like us know. And I'm like, I can't filter all the time because it's coming out of my pores. It's who I am at this point. And I don't remember the topic off the top of my head, but I just started red pilling her, like connecting the dots for her. Like, we realize why that's happening. It's this, and this, and this is the goal. And I laid it out very quickly, concisely, and clearly. I saw the synapses in her brain going off, and she said, you know what her response was? Shut up, shut up, shut up.
Yeah, she couldn't handle it.
And I go, what? I go, I'm thinking she's going to say, like, well, let me tell you why you're wrong. Like, no. She was just like, I said, I'm sorry. Did I offend you? And she's like, no, it's a lot. I just can't. And I'm like,
yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, go back to sleep. I'll wake you up when the Orwellian shackles are around your neck and let you know why they're there. Ding dong.
Yeah, you got her good, man. Hopefully that you planted a seed in the future, and maybe someday she'll sit there at home and think about what you said to her, and maybe, who knows, this whole red pilling thing is getting it's tiresome. We've been red pilling for years, man, and it's just tiresome now.
It depends how caffeinated I am. If I'm caffeinated, I'm good with it. I'm ready to fight. I know you mean tiresome.
So all right, let's switch a little bit and go to this one. This has a few different tentacles on it. So,
one quick little thing about Gretchen Whitmer. Just a nice little reminder. Remember, Gretchen Whitmer was one of the first 86-45 politicians.
Oh yeah,
remember that?
Oh yeah.
She had those blocks on that table behind her during some interview. I mean, she was like one of the first people to do that. Trump knows that. I mean, like you said, I bet he's got her right where he wants her.
I think so.
And you know what's funny? Another thing I don't want to let her ever live down is that mocking the Holy Communion thing that she did. The only reason I don't want to let that die is because of how ignorant and stupid she looked. It looked like she was pandering to some young atheist, millennial kids on her staff or something. She was trying to be relevant or cool.
Yeah.
But I don't even think she knows what she's doing. And I just think she looked like an absolute fool, and she got called out for it. And she's the type of person that's so dumb when they get called out, they just go, and they laugh and they go on their way. And she has no introspection to go, maybe I better rethink what I'm doing here a little bit. But nope, I think that she's just so dopey. She doesn't even get it. I think she's just blowing around with the wind. Whichever direction the wind blows, she's going to jump on board, and then she doesn't care if she gets called out or not. But
you're talking about the Doritos chip thing where they're trying to make that look like the Eucharist or something, right?
Yeah.
Or the communion. So that was crazy when that came out. But to their side, that was the coolest thing ever. To us, it was straight cringe. But they loved
the look on her face. She just looked like a vapid clown. I don't even know what she was thinking.
Well, and that's why when we brought up that stuff about after she visited the White House and didn't want to be on camera and put that up. From that point forward, I think her relationship with Trump has changed, meaning that she knows that he's got the goods. So she's going to be able to play ball with him, I believe. And I said, pay attention to how their relationship is in the future now. See how that evolves. I mean, if she's playing ball with him, after that, he's been here a few times, and she showed up. Remember? She showed up to greet him off the plane and all this stuff. And boy, these libs they get all types of butt hurt, man. Remember? Yeah. Crazy. All right.
She's a full-blown narcissist and a sociopath. There's no way around it. She's so interested in being liked, but at the same time doesn't care if she's not. I mean, that right there is the odd back and forth.
It's kind of wild too to think about Outcast. She's our age. She graduated high school same year we did, same time. We know friends that know her from high school. Yeah, know things. We'll tell you that stuff later, Sean. But I'm
going to guess sexual promiscuity. Is that part of it?
And that ties into what you just said, Sean. She wants to be liked.
There
she
you
loves
go.
Being liked. Yeah, she
like me.
She wants to be liked all over. So, all right. So let's talk about another one of her friends locally here. And Sean, you know a lot about this. Karen McDonald,
yes,
the county attorney general, or the
prosecutor.
The prosecutor, which she is going to now pursue her AG career here in Michigan. So, she pulled off this, I'm going to put in quotes, successful campaign against Ethan Crumbley and the Crumbley family. This all stems out of the Oxford shooting stuff. Now, we've been over it a lot on our show with you, Sean, and you know the ins and outs about all this stuff. Recently, there was some, it came back to court again because the appeals keep coming from the families, right? Of the people that were shot and killed, the kids that were shot and killed at the school. But now these cases just keep getting shut down. And the whole, her handling of this whole Ethan Crumbley case and the total corruption behind it. But you know what's really driving me nuts about it? There's no governmental accountability allowed. There's no, from the school side of it, there's no administration accountability allowed. So, this is all being funneled down. To me, it feels like it's because of her AG career that's coming ahead. She just announced her pursuit of that, attorney general, now that the terms of Dana Nessel are up. So this thing has taken a turn for, in my eyes, the more corrupt version of what's going on here. And I want to bring in some stuff about Ethan Crumbley that we found out too recently about stuff that he's talked about while he's sitting there in prison. So if you want to bring anything up to speed on that, because I know you've been following that too, Sean.
I've dropped off the radar since I saw the last report about Jennifer Crumbley's lawyer filing an appeal, and then the same judge who oversaw the trial, denied the appeal and then sought to fine Jennifer Crumbley's lawyer. Yeah.
So to me, it's like there's all these people, the prosecutor, the judge, the media around here, the attorney general, the current, everybody who was involved in this at the higher levels, they're all Democrats and they're all friends. So they really don't have to communicate with each other to know what outcomes they want. So these families have very valid questions and concerns, and they want to know more about what happened at the administration level at the school. But there's invisible walls up. We're not allowed to see that stuff. So you have people sitting in prison who didn't kill anybody, sitting in there for charges of murder, right?
Yeah.
It's wild. It's wild what's going on. Now, we want to take that a little bit further. Remember, I sent it to you guys both. There's notes, and there was a video from Ethan Crumbley out of the prison, and it disturbed the heck out of us, Outcast. Remember, it sounded like, after we saw it and listened to it, if this was like a, I don't know, some sort of a mysteries podcast, it almost seems like he was filled by demonic possession. The way he was talking. Do you remember that, Outcast? No, yes. And, I don't know where you want to go with that on this show here, Sean, but
go for it.
We after hearing that, we understand, what was behind his possible motives behind that shooting that he did. It sounds to me like this kid demonically possessed with the things that he was saying and writing. I mean, the clues were out there. People saw these things, but decided not to pursue like they should have pursued. And maybe they could have stopped this thing and gotten this kid some help. I think he's still demonically possessed, sitting there in prison. He's probably just full of evil spirit type of stuff there, Outcast. I don't know. Am I getting a little too crazy on this? Too little too far away?
No. I need to watch a little bit closer to what he was saying to get a read on it. But I have no reason to doubt your opinion. I tell you this. I got this impression that he was a bit neglected by his parents. Is that correct, Jesse, in saying that? He was kind of like left to his own devices?
Yeah, I believe that, for sure.
Okay, so what that could mean is, just to give some background on how something like that could happen to him, as far as being demonically possessed or otherwise. If he's went through trauma as a kid due to neglect, that can create the anger, the resentment, the fracturing of the personality that allows the demonic realms to take a foothold, right? Mm-hmm. So these things are generational. They run in bloodlines too, but I mean, it can be generational as far as abuse goes. Hurt people make hurt people. So let's say he's being kind of treated like, this kid's an inconvenience, and he isn't getting the love or the attention that he thinks he deserves. That creates that resentment and is deep in his bones, and he's gonna channel it somewhere. He's going to fixate on something to blame for those feelings. Especially if he's not in a situation where he can be exposed to the healing relationship of Jesus Christ, right? You're gonna just speaking personally, me without my faith, I had resentments for things that I saw growing up, and I channeled it as anti-authoritarianism, and I had it so bad that I despised the jocks in my high school because I saw them as a level of authoritarianism within my school, right? So my rebellion. And then the devil lured me into punk rock because punk rock was the ultimate middle finger to everybody, right?
Yeah.
So I hated cops, and I hated jocks, and I hated, right? And even though I was acting just like the people that I claimed to dislike, because now me and my friends, we have our own clique, and if you try to enter that clique and your punk rock outfit isn't what we thought, well, that's no difference being a cheerleader or a jock that says that you're not good enough to hang out with them. Mm-hmm. We're just transferring that kind of behavior to somewhere else and trying to justify it in our mind. I'm sorry. I mean, it sounds simple as rebellion, but I'm going to tell you, it has demonic origins, because who's the biggest rebel of them all? Lucifer was given the ability to have free choice. And what did he choose? He chose to rebel against God.
Yeah.
And in his pride and his arrogance and his rebellion, he was cast out of the kingdom of heaven. And here he is on earth. He cannot sit on a throne. So he has to find human proxies to work through. And if that's Ethan Cromley or if it's the President of the United States, they're going to find their human proxies to sit, because they're not allowed to, because this is mankind's domain. I'm sorry, I just kind of went off on a tangent there, but I'm just trying to illustrate to anybody that may be randomly listening to this. If Jesse sounds crazy by saying, this kid might have a demon, I want you to understand how the unseen realm works. It's real, and it surrounds us. And there's a good side too. The good guys are out there too. We have literal angels assigned to us. They're trying to help us. But if you don't have that foundation, if you haven't found Jesus yet, and it goes unchecked, you are going to develop a rebellion / a hatred that goes so deep in your bones that you're going to do irrational things just to try to feel better about yourself in those bad feelings. Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Having a conversation?
No doubt.
It brings, it clears, for me, it clears out what I was trying to say,
just bringing it together and just adding it.
And you just wonder, it makes me think, is how many people are sitting in prison that have done these horrendous things, are still sitting in there without any help. In their minds, they still are full of demonic possession type of stuff. So they're trapped in two prisons, is what I'm saying. And I'm not saying to let them out. I'm saying, they're in their own hell, is what they are, and they're living it. Some people will say, yeah, they deserve it and all that, but we're talking about souls too. I don't know. Maybe that's.
You're 100% right. One of the aspects of that trial, which I remember, and this was again where Heather McDonald really stepped in it, and you got to see, of course, how nasty she is as a person. Of course, just bringing the entire case itself is disgusting because there wasn't a single law that the parents broke. And that was one of the first trials where I couldn't believe that they were going to jail because they didn't break the law once. Yeah. And so I thought, okay, you're sending people quite literally to jail for not violating a single law. And then, of course, the prosecution never even mentioned it. But in one moment in that trial, and again, I couldn't even tell you the hour nor the day when it occurred, but it was one of those things where if you weren't watching it live, you'd miss it. Heather McDonald mentioned something that she wasn't supposed to mention in trial. And that right there, again, is a big no-no. But one of the pieces of evidence that was purposefully left out of the trial and wasn't supposed to be brought up was that Ethan and one of his friends would shoot animals in his parents' backyard with BB guns. Basically just for fun. Shoot a squirrel, shoot a rabbit, shoot a frog, burn ants with a magnifying glass. I mean, stuff like that. Basically just kill indiscriminately and for no reason. Mm-hmm. And that right there is also, again, one of those sort of earmarks, so to speak, of an individual, again, who is slowly being controlled by evil forces and evil things. Again, Jeffrey Dahmer did the exact same thing. He would torture a neighborhood cat, or he would go to extended lengths to do the same thing to a frog in his backyard, or a random reptile or animal or amphibian that he would come across. That's that's next level, clearly. And then, of course, he just transitioned over into doing that to human beings. It really wasn't any different with Ethan Crumbley, but like what Outcast said, it can be something quite specifically and what might seem as being very minute, which is just neglect. That you're just not having your immediate needs met, certainly within the home, but then this is where it stretches into the school environment and even brings up the business of demonic possession within schools, which I have no doubt about. Because as you just said, the devil is the master of deception. Look at the entire school environment. The school environment is designed to be divisive under the illusion of being equal and being caring and loving and all of that. And it is not. It is the exact opposite. Again, you have individuals that work in the business who make fun of students who do not participate in particular school-related things, and so there must be something wrong with the student. There must be something wrong with the child or their family or whatever. Well, you're not in this club, or you're not on that team, or you're an average student, so there's something wrong with you. Again, the entire environment is a brainwashing environment, but as I've been over endless times on this show and written about at length, and you guys know this too, is that the environment needs the brainwashed to do the instruction. And you need the brainwashed to run the environment, because you can't, the environment cannot continue to deceive the way that it does if you had awake people running it. I mean, if the truth was being told in those environments, the person telling the truth would be fired. So I just don't know how it can get more demonic, to be honest.
That is so well articulated, and what you're making me think of at the same time, it's the exact same design and function of Facebook for adults.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a public shaming to silence the thinkers.
Yes.
The whole thing is designed to shape opinion.
Yep.
Well, yeah, that's LifeLog. Back when the government owned it, DARPA. Now it's they still own it, but yeah, DARPA, LifeLog became Facebook.
And the deception too regarding, I would say, the parameters and the rules surrounding social media, certainly within school environments or even working environments. I mean, when MySpace and Facebook first showed up, MySpace, of course, arriving first, most people didn't know about it. And if they had a page, they, whatever, there weren't enough companies and enough working environments that knew about it to actually utilize it in any way, let alone see the pitfalls associated with having your employees engage in online sharing the way that they share everything. But then again, specifically rather within the school environment, these educators would be on it without thought. and they'd be sharing their entire lives on an open Facebook page as school teachers and as administrators, and then someone would get scolded or reprimanded or whatever for maybe making a particular post. And then before you know it, it went from being this thing that wasn't allowed to all of the sudden, it's a part of our society, so let's just accept it, and now it's allowed. And now basically, again, anybody can theoretically do almost whatever they want online, and you're not going to lose your job as a result. But I think there's an ebb and flow to that. It's like that. It's that Viking ship at the carnival ride. You know, it goes up in one direction, everybody screams, and then it comes back in the other direction eventually, and everybody screams. Where I think we're seeing the return of that, to where what people do online is more scrutinized within the working environment, but the real free thinkers are the ones out there saying whatever needs to be said online, and that's also a good thing because, again, we're educating people. So, yeah, it's complicated, but man alive. Demonic, I have no doubt about it. No doubt.
Yep. I know. That's crazy. We talk about that a lot, you know, on our show too, about just it works its way in there. I mean, what a great place for demonics to live, right in politics. Perfect place for that.
Yeah. Schools too, like Sean said.
Yeah.
It's like
government, politics.
Young, impressionable kids who can have their emotions played like a fiddle.
Yeah.
Doing, exercising cliques and bullying and online bullying and whatever it is. I mean, it's a playground for the devil, for sure.
Combine that with what they're watching straight out of Hollywood, Netflix, and all this crap. I mean, what are we going to do? You know, it's like, it's crazy. I hate bagging on Michigan so much like we did earlier, but I got to tell you, Sean, Michigan on a map, if you look at it, I think we have 86 counties, something like that. I think all but 6 of them are red. They vote red. When you look at a ballot and look at the results, the whole state is red.
Yeah.
Right? You have these 4 or 5 counties that are blue, and they're the ones that end up making policy and everything for the rest of us. It's crazy the way that works out. It almost seems like we need to have a electoral college for states. It seems like they would make sense, but you just pack a lot of people into 1 or 2 counties, control the counting of the ballots there, and boom, you got a red or a blue state all of a sudden.
Well, and Jesse, don't forget there are videos of people driving around with, unloading ballots in the middle of the night. So even though they have in their mind the city's packed, they still are insecure about the ability to win those counties.
I know. Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not. They don't have those like they think they act like they do.
No. And for example, it's not like a big liberal state. It's nothing like and from the farthest. I mean, the people here, you got a majority of, like I said, I would think I don't know, Tennessee or something like that. Somewhere where now Tennessee is far from being a blue state, but the invasion of Tennessee is real. I mean, they're going after Tennessee and Nashville and those big cities hard now. I hope they don't Colorado, Tennessee, but there's a chance for it. I mean, Michigan's kind of the same way, but the people here is what I'm saying. The people here, think about this, Sean. We have from Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota. Those are the 3 highest states in the country with the most hunters, right? I'm going to say we're 600,000 hunters here, and then, maybe 700,000 in the other states or more. But there's a lot of people that get out there with guns and hunt and aren't out there killing each other during hunting season, is what I'm saying. It's like, I know I'm way off base of everything here. I'm not even, doesn't relate to anything in the story that we've talked about. But from an aspect of liberals trying to say, hey, guns bad and all this stuff, how are they going to defend when we got 600,000 of these guns going out there and hardly any, there are no mass shootings from that.
Right.
Well, you might get the accidental shooting himself because, being silly with gun safety, but stuff like that. I mean, I don't know where this fits in. I'm just trying to bring something to the table here.
No, it's the basic political, hypocrisy. I mean, they would rather focus on something like that, law-abiding citizens, because they don't want to go into downtown Detroit or inner city Detroit on a weekend and arrest, a group of blacks who are ripping off, semi-automatic or fully automatic Glock 48s with huge extended clips on them and just blasting in the air just for fun. I mean, they're not gonna get anywhere close to them because they don't want to. They'll get killed. But they can, they can infringe on someone else's rights and, and go for the smaller individual, so they think. But yeah, I mean, that kind of stuff is everywhere. And again, speaking of that, what about Michigan school levies? I mean, how have they been passing? Are there more of them, to your knowledge?
The last time there was, we talked about this, we had a good mix, and because not all of them passed. Remember, it was not long ago, Outcast, just earlier this spring, there was a bunch of levies, and a lot of people were putting them down. We were getting that, again, that information was coming to us straight from Carla Wagner with Axe My Tax, Michigan. And a lot of them were getting turned down because people were showing up to say no. Vote no on these things. And so a lot of them did get turned down. In the past, I would say a heavy majority would have gotten passed and gotten through. But now people are starting to wake up, saying, no, we got to say no to all these ballot proposals and all these dumb things. They try to tie it in with police and fire and try to get you confused. So you vote yes. But in this last one, I know a lot of these levies got turned down, which is great. And I hope people keep waking up for that because we have more coming up next summer. So I'm going to do my part here on our show to keep calling out, and we're going to keep having more of these shows about getting rid of our tax here, or our property taxes here. So we're fighting that battle too, Sean. So
yeah, it's never ending. I don't know if you guys saw what happened with the Chicago public schools, but they're bankrupt.
Yep. Yes.
What is it? $734 million deficit. Yeah. 1,458 employees they had to fire, including, what does it say here? 432 teachers and 677 special education classroom assistants, all because they were paying for illegals and everything else. I mean, I called it. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to toot my own horn. I called that like 4 years ago. I said, you keep bringing in these illegal aliens, you're gonna do in your own system. And one of the largest public school systems is just flat broke now. I love it.
Yeah. And see, so how are they going to prop up and say, hey, you send your kids to public schools. They're great. They're gonna, like you said before, and I really like it. I think I repeated it on our show before. The future of government education, government schools, public schooling is the handicapped and illegals. That's what's going to be in there. It's going to be a place to put, those people, those type of people. Just because the smarter ones, they're going to get out and be like, look, the parents are going to recognize, we can't be sending our kids to these insane asylums anymore. It's going to end up being the handicapped and the illegals, just like you said. I completely agree with that. I can see how that's happening because, look, they're not good with money. They're not good with, funding at all. They're not transparent. Who knows where all this money goes? Then you throw in the lottery money, supposed to be going to schools and all that, right? Yeah, right. I'd like to see actual full transparency. I'll just take it on a county level. Let's see the books. Let's see everything. Let's see where it all goes. Where does our money go? We're never going to see that stuff. We should, though.
Yeah. There was also this one. This had to do with, again, it's just nice watching all of this sort of come back around and bite these people right in the backside. But this was from Children's Health Defense about 8 days ago. And it says, jury awards $4 million to St. Louis school employees denied religious exemptions from COVID vaccine. It says the 13 current and former public school employees in the federal jury trial sued the district after being placed on unpaid administrative leave in 2021. Again, this is a perfect example of a class action lawsuit. says the school district, quote, accepted medical exemptions, but they discriminated against us, and they chose to deny every single religious exemption that was submitted. And now they just got paid. Now, again, 13 employees, $4 million. How that gets split up is anybody's guess. They probably lost more money, either moving, finding another job, not being employed, whatever it may have been. But if people don't stick together on the right issues and go after blatant illegality when it's at face value, then you're going to get stepped on every single time. So this is a win, and you got to take the wins when they show up. No doubt about it.
Yeah. And we will. We'll take all these wins. You had something funny on one of your recent shows. I don't know if it was last week or the week before, whatever, but you talked about these teachers, these female teachers with these hats on, these party girl hats, right?
Yeah.
And they had a bunch of filthy sayings on them and all that stuff. Well, have you noticed a trend in that? That's the new hotness, I think, probably since around wintertime. I remember it was going around here. These chicks, moms or teachers, whoever, friends, girls, whatever they're doing, they go out, whether, to the bar, restaurant, maybe on vacation, maybe up north for a girls' weekend, whatever it is, and they get these party hats that they order up, and they say some disgusting stuff on there. And same thing with shirts. Sometimes you'll see them at the bar. We were at one of the local restaurant bars, and there was for karaoke one night. And there was a whole group of them, 14 of these girls, and they're all wearing these, some of them with disgusting sayings on their shirts. Kind of just like the hats you were talking about.
Yeah.
But that's the new hotness right now. The new hotness trend that these chicks are doing. Yeah. Okay.
It's funny because earlier you mentioned the Haktua girl, and I think it directly correlates to that. I mean, this girl, goes viral for being pretty, vulgar. And suddenly she gets all this attention and money. She got millions of dollars. She was being paid to fly around the country and make appearances at different events. And how does your brain, process that when you're a young girl trying to get attention from guys? Like, oh, I got to be vile, and people think it's cute, and I might even get paid for it. If not, I'll get the attention from the guys, right? So then we just. The fact that she went viral, and listen, it's not the girl's fault entirely. The guys are the ones that were lapping it up. Nobody could get enough of Haktua girl, right? Mm-hmm. They thought that was really, good high comedy, and there was a juvenile side of me that had a laugh about it too. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, at the end of the day, you're celebrating people who have broken morality. And I mean, I honestly, it's funny that you bring her up, because I was just thinking about her recently. I'm like thinking, whatever happened to her? Was she able to hang on to that money she got? Did she improve her lifestyle?
Nah, she got in trouble.
Easy come, easy go with money like that.
She got in trouble with some like a Bitcoin or some sort of a digital currency kind of thing.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
She got herself in promoted the Bitcoin issues. I don't know which one it was. It was some sort of a coin, but I don't know. It came back on her because that stuff.
You get my point.
I do.
We got a culture that celebrates this stuff and lines the pockets of people for more. The more juvenile and more vulgar they can be, the more they're celebrated by a certain section of society. And young people, they cannot process that. What people. Well, I don't know if it's a character trait or if it's just young people in general, but I mean, their brains aren't fully functioning until they're 25. They make short-term gain decisions with a complete lack of understanding of the long-term negative consequences. A person that has innate wisdom in them will make short-term sacrifices knowing that there's long-term gain. In this case, in a spiritual note, we'll say people who try to live a life of morality and I don't want to say piety, but like somebody who's trying to align their life with the life of Christ. They aren't going to be particularly popular in the now, but what they might find is a guy who really appreciates them for who they are and have a long-term relationship, hopefully. What these young girls are doing is I want attention now, and I want to be popular now, and they're not looking at the fact that they're going to be discarded as rubbish down the road because of the signals that they sent that attracted the wrong people.
Mm-hmm. Well said.
Right? You follow me?
Yeah.
Well said. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. Outcast, I don't know if you saw these hats on these gals, and it's I mean, like you said, Jesse, I had no idea it was a trend, but that doesn't surprise me either, because again, good old NPCs, they live online, and then they get upset when somebody criticizes them online. And it's like, well, wait a minute. You're just following along. You're playing follow the leader with another pack of morons, and all you're doing is just doing what they're doing and acting like it's some original thought or whatever else. I mean, they're using it for their own braggadocious reasons, and they don't even. I mean, they're so blinded by what message they're actually sending everybody and anybody who can see it that it's just absurd. But the conversation I was having with a couple of friends of mine is we were saying this is the difference between individuals doing something in private, but at the exact same time not recognizing that once you make it public, it's no longer private.
Right.
Which means
that's where.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
that
was it.
Exactly where I was going to go with it. It's like, okay, look, in all of our minds, well, in mine anyway, I'm not going to speak for anybody else, but you think of the classic in your head teacher, right? To me, I'm going back to my old school days where the teacher was, you saw the teacher at school and that was it. You didn't see her on the weekend. You didn't hear from her. We didn't talk to her. We didn't have her phone number, none of this kind of stuff. Today, it's much different than that. Today's thought of a teacher, they can be some crazy blue hair, BLM, trans flag, whatever in your head now. And they're giving students their phone numbers and all this stuff. It's wild. But here's another thing too, is like, I don't know, I guess we're supposed to have teachers as a higher regard, kind of like we have with doctors or whatever, but that's all been blown to bits too. Okay, so
right.
You have teachers who are out there partying. Look, go out there and party and have a great time, do whatever you want to do. But when you put it on air, the teacher themselves, out in the public, don't be upset when people start criticizing you because you're supposed to be a quote teacher. Now, if you want to go have those parties and all that stuff, fine, go do it. Look, keep it within the confines of your friend group. Okay, we all have dumb things that we like to do with our buddies and stuff, right? But typically we don't like to put that out where people can see it and criticize us. It might be because of our job, it might be because of our faith, whatever it is. But when they go out there and put those vulgar things on their hat and then put it out in the public, well, they're going to get something back. And for them being a teacher, it's going to be even at a higher level. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of these gals deleted her entire social media pages, apparently. And
there you go.
She's a former high school counselor, but she apparently works at Miami University as a PhD, and she was the one, I think, wearing the hat that said offensive and difficult. Again, I mean...
Right. And that's very, very mild for the hats I saw at the bar.
Right.
I mean, what's that one? I shaved my bush for this? I mean, this kind of stuff is on these hats.
Yeah. One of them said,
you know what I mean?
I'm not a hot mess, I'm a spicy disaster. Another one said, shit show supernova. And then another one said, well, shake my ass for tequila. Again, like, if you want to wear a dumb hat, I'm not, people wear dumb hats all the time. Go for it.
Yeah.
But don't take a picture of it, put it online, and expect everybody to just accept it.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. They have the freedom to do what they want to do. We all have the freedom to be an idiot.
Yeah.
Okay? All of us, right now. But, like you said, John, when it gets out there in the public, if you allow it to get out in the public, be ready to take the arrows because they're coming back. And that goes to everything that we're saying on these microphones, right? We're putting whatever we say out there in the public because we're on mics and we're allowing it to go. So whatever arrows come back at us, we'll take them, whatever it is. We're not going to try to hide and run from it like these teachers are.
No. That's the part that they also don't understand either. Is people stand up for themselves, and they attempt to in engaging in what behavior they're engaging in, and they don't have a leg to stand on because as far as they're concerned, if 5 or 9 people reach out to them on social media and agree with them, then that's fine. But all of a sudden, if an employer goes, hey, we saw this post, this is inappropriate, get rid of it, then they panic.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, wait a minute, maybe it was a mistake. And it's like, see, that's the one-dimensional thinking that these people engage in that is really dangerous because, again, we drive around these people. I mean, these people drive automobiles. And it makes you wonder, what else in their lives are they thinking one-dimensionally about? And they're not. And the answer is they're not thinking about consequences.
Yeah, you know what this reminds me of? It takes us right back to the beginning. Those two idiot couples. Oh, the couple at the Coldplay concert that got caught with on the jumbotron.
Right.
That's what this reminds me of right there.
Yeah.
Golly, man.
You made it come full circle.
Yeah. I'll tell you what.
To a girl.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I don't know if you guys are pressed for time, but I did want to mention this, and it's not a bad place to end. Okay. I don't know if you came across what the number one golfer in the world, Scottie Scheffler, said this week when he was being interviewed over there at the British Open golf tournament. But he was talking. He was talking about, the basically the aspect of sport in his life, and how it's not the most important part, and how it should never be the most important part of a person's life. That life is about way more than what a person does for a living, or any kind of competition or this, that, and the other. And he was essentially laughing at the people who of course fawn over sporting events and that kind of accomplishment. He said there's so many more important accomplishments that people are going to experience in their lives. And you can tell that this is a God-loving human being. There's no doubt about that. He wears his faith on his sleeve, and he knows Jesus, and that's awesome. And he's sharing it with people, and this I think is part of the Great Awakening, is that endless people are speaking out now and talking about their relationships with Jesus in a way that they never have before. And that's not accidental. In fact, there was just this one last example that I wanted to mention, and I would recommend that people go and check this out to some extent, because it really is interesting. And I didn't watch the whole thing. I maybe watched 20, 30 minutes of it, but Sage Steele, who used to work for ESPN, she has a podcast on, I'm sure it's on Rumble also, but it's on YouTube. And she was interviewing Sam Ponder. And Sam Ponder is the wife of a former NFL quarterback. And she was one of the lead anchors, or the lead female anchor at ESPN during the whole COVID lie and all of that nonsense. Blonde gal. And she was on, I think, NFL Countdown or even NFL Game Day and all that other stuff. But again, very high ranking at ESPN, well paid, well known, the whole thing. And then she made a couple of online posts about men playing in girls' sports and how it was unfair and unethical. And I'm paraphrasing her, but that was essentially it. And then the blowback that she got online for saying that ended up costing her job. And when you listen to her talk to Sage Steele about losing her job, what you are literally watching on film is a woman describe her awakening and her unplugging from the Matrix. I mean, it is.
That's awesome.
It really is. And she talks again about, she goes, look, my parents always cared about me, and they're intelligent people, and they're down to earth, and they love Jesus, and we always had faith. She goes, but I was working in this system that was giving me what I wanted, or what I thought I wanted, which was money, attention, a spotlight, travel, this, that, and the other. And she says, I've never been more happy than I am right now. She's home. She's homeschooling her 3 children. She's not employed. She's doing what a mother is supposed to do, because that's what, I'm not trying to insult people. I'm just saying that, that's what Jesus creates women to do. And it's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing when they work in the machine like that, basically for the devil. And then something happens that exposes the devil's hypocrisy. And then before you know it, the cord's been ripped out of the back of their head. They're free from the Matrix. And they look around and they say to themselves, my God, what was I doing? I can't believe what I was doing. In fact, she's so specific, and she's so accurate with it, because I experienced the same thing, is that when she left her line of work and she all of a sudden just stopped, she got very sick. and her body just started to deteriorate. And she thought to her, and again, it was the body's way of saying again, you don't belong there. You've pushed yourself so hard. You've done this one thing for so long. I mean, she was in that business for 20 years, give or take. And then in the blink of an eye, because of a couple of tweets, she has a feeling she's going to get fired. And then it's funny how she tells the story. She says, she looked at her husband and said, I think I'm going to get fired today, kind of jokingly, but feeling that it was going to happen because of the constant online pressure and the blowback for standing up for her morals and values and actually saying the right thing. And she says the bosses called her, the higher ups, and she said, hey, everybody, how's your day today? Hope everybody's having a great day. And she was in a good mood, but she was acting. And then they were like, our day's fine. How's yours? And this is, of course, right before they fired her. And then they were like, well, we're going to let you go. And, there's lawyers involved, and here's how this and blah, blah, blah. And this is how this is all going to shake out. And she ended it again by looking at him over the phone and saying, well, I appreciate it. Okay, thanks. Thanks for the opportunity. Take care. And she hung up. She didn't get pissed with him. She didn't get any of that with him. She just, again, having been in a similar position, it's Jesus talking through her to communicate with those people, those higher ups at ESPN, that they don't matter. And that line of work doesn't matter. That fairness matters and how you treat people matters. Telling the truth matters. Standing up for what you know to be right matters. And what is right matters. And that's all that matters. I mean, they were probably expecting her to scream and shout and yell and, how could you? And I've given you 20 years of my life and blah, blah, blah. She didn't do it. She just said, okay, great. Have a great day. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
they wanted her to cry and beg.
Exactly. And that's when you're not a slave. That's when you just say, okay, bye.
Yeah. They probably just assumed because she's a black woman that she would take their side.
Sam Ponder's white.
I mean, no, I'm talking about Sage Steele.
Oh, sorry. Sage Steele. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, but I mean, again, that was Sam Ponder's experience, and Sage Steele, I think she ended up leaving maybe slightly before Sam Ponder for maybe similar reasons, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But Sam Ponder said to her during their interview, she said, of all the people who reached out to me, they said, I had some reach out to me and openly say things like, hey, look, I work here and we support you, but I have a job. And I mean, that line alone is pathetic, but she looked at Sage Steele and she was just like, you straight up told me I did the right thing and that you supported me 100% and you were out before I was and, X, Y, Z. And, I support you 100%, like I said, and everything else. But I mean, it's very well done because you're hearing someone talk about leaving the Matrix. And that's the part for me when I even see these girls wearing these hats on the beach is I just say to myself, they're caught in the Matrix. They're being led around by other people doing other things, behaving in other ways, and they have no idea.
And I'm going to add to that, it's the devil's matrix.
No doubt.
I don't mean to be a holy roller about it, but it's like, yeah, I mean, if we were sent here, Ephesians 1:4, for you were chosen by Christ himself before the foundation of the earth was laid to be holy and blameless in his sight. We were selected to be here at this time. He's outside of linear time. So before the foundation of the world was created, you and I and Jesse were selected to be here for this battle at this time. What's the devil's job? Make sure that you don't know what your mission is. To debase you, to turn you into the world, to turn you into something less than what you were sent here to be, right? And the more football games, the more NFL games you watch, the more Taylor Swift concerts you attend, the more news you watch, the more music you listen to that's mainstream, it's going to get you. It's going to divert your attention, and you will get to a point where you can't even hear the word of God. And you're going to pick up a Bible, and it's going to be gibberish to you until you repent. I'm sorry, I just had to do that, you guys, because the Matrix thing is huge to me, and it's the Matrix analogy is perfect. But when you add the devil who designed the Matrix, that adds a whole new dimension to the battle that we're in. And these young people with their hats or whatever we're talking about, whatever the current thing is discussing, they just don't understand how they're being played by the world and how lost they are in it. I say that from experience. I'm not like saying it from a place of piety. I've chased the world my whole life. So I'm saying this from the clarity of hindsight being 2020. But I just want to throw that in the hopper before we say goodbye.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
I'm glad you mentioned repentance too, because I heard someone a while back say this, and it made perfect sense, that repentance is not getting mad at people who criticize you. And repentance is not crying about mistakes you've made or crying or getting angry because somebody else doesn't like something you're doing. Repentance is just changing who you are.
Amen.
Just
Amen.
take the hat off.
Yeah.
Don't take a selfie. Don't hang out with that person. I mean, it's teeny little things at a time, but that's when you're changing yourself.
Yeah. Don't set a trap and then step in your own trap. I mean, it's easy, as simple as that.
Bingo.
People do it every day.
Don't step in it.
Perfect.
Yes. Crazy, man.
Gentlemen, it's been an honor, and thanks for coming on. It's been a while since I had you guys on, and I wanted to do it, and I'm glad I did. It was absolutely fantastic.
Well, go ahead, Outcast.
God bless you, Sean. We love you, brother. Thank you so much for this opportunity. We really do appreciate you, and I think it's mutual, and that feels really good. So we love you, brother.
That's right. We've got to get you back on the schedule too, because it's always fun hanging out with you and bringing your perspective in to our show. Because a lot of people, of course, they listen to you as well, and it's just this. We're cross-breeding is what I'm saying. We're cross-promoting our shows and pollinating on both sides, and I think we need to do this more often. It's really good. We share a lot of the same audience, and you're the first one that actually answered one of my emails way before I even had a podcast going, and I told Outcast, hey, we got to get this guy on, and it was Sean Brooks. So glad for you being out there, brother.
God bless you guys. Thanks again. Take care.
You too. Stay dangerous.
Absolutely.
Good night.
Thank you for listening to American Education FM. Make sure and check out AmericanEducationFM.com for more information. Take care and God bless.